Hi, welcome back to my little green chat. Welcome back to my channel, the little green car. Today I thought I would just, have a little chat, kind of like just talking off the top of my head a little bit. Anyway, I thought I'd talk about computers, cell phones, dogs, motorcycles, the things that make life worthwhile. Anyhow, your opinion on that may vary, but for me, driving truck, we'll start off with that. Uh, I started driving before they had such a thing as cell phones and computers, and so therefore, computers are a real challenge for me. Uh, I know I can learn to master them. I mastered the cell phone, and the cell phone certainly made my life a whole lot easier. Remember when they had the bag phones, and what an improvement that was. I could, if I was got up on a wreck, I could call in for an ambulance or highway patrol, without having to flag somebody down and wait for them to get to town, which can be an uncomfortable situation. I remember one time I got up on this wreck and it was in the middle of the night. I had to flag somebody down. They had to go to town. One person got killed. Another person was pinned in the car. Well, I had to sit there and hold his hand for about 2.5 hours before help arrived. To extricate him, and I told him what I needed, and of course, a highway patrolman and a hearse and a wrecker came, and we got the guy out of the car, but I had to sit there and basically hold his hand so he wouldn't panic. And before that, that wasn't a whole lot of fun. And cell phones eliminated all that. You could call in and have somebody out there right away, and if I needed directions to some place I'd never been before, I can punch in their address on my cell phone, and I can see exactly what the place looks like, and see what roads I need to get onto to go there and stuff. And it makes it so much easier if you don't know where you're going. It'll Cell phones will take you right to the place. You just punch in the address, and the map will tell you when to turn and everything else. So, God, it's just wonderful. And I've learned to master that, so I'll learn to master the computer. But I had a span there about 4 weeks, so I didn't, couldn't put a computer video up because I had, wasn't familiar enough with the program to edit and put those videos together in any kind of continuity. But like with anything, if you practice it enough, you'll get the hang of it. I mean, I wasn't born with a steering wheel in my hand. I learned to drive a truck, and I got pretty good at it. But the things I had trouble with, I just practiced and practiced and practiced some more until I got it. Until I got pretty darn good at backing up and backing in between objects and stuff like that. But, that's just what it takes is practice, practice, practice. And it'll be the same way with this videos. I enjoy doing them, and I want to get good at it. But it's a whole new ball game. I mean, if you talk to anybody my age, they'll tell you that it's Greek to them. Their grandkids are far better at it than they are, which is true, because they grew up with them. They had to learn how to, navigate their way around a computer, and I never had to learn to do that. If you talked about cell smartphones, and heck, I got a smart watch now too. I mean, it's Buck Rogers type stuff. Science fiction. When I was a kid, if somebody told me that they would be able to have phones like this and computers, well, I would think they were just, smoking something, that they were on dope. What the heck's wrong with you? That'll never happen. But, it has happened. And I'd love to see, what the changes are going to be in the next 50 years. I think it's going to be astounding. And of course, I won't be around 50 years from now. I'm dang near 80. But it would be fun to see, Heck, it wasn't that long ago. People were running around horse and buggy, and then they developed the internal combustion engine, and they had the horseless carriage back. Shortly after the turn of the century, from 1800s to the 1900s. Heck, Harley Davidson was the first Harley came out in 1903, and look at where they've come. And I can't remember when the Model T Ford was made, but it was pretty early on in the 20th century. Things change. And it's a good thing that things change, But people are reluctant to change sometimes. But I'll get the hang of that computer. It will just take a little work. And I change the subject a little bit, talk about motorcycles. You know, I always loved to ride motorcycles. I, still do. I can't ride anymore because my back has gotten so bad that I can't balance like I used to. And if you can't balance well, you got no business on a motorcycle. But I fell in love with them when I was 7 years old in Norway. I remember climbing up on the garage next to the apartment building that we lived in, and there's somebody else's backyard butted up against the back side of that garage. And I'd climb up there, and I'd watch these kids. They're high school or college, I don't know. I was in first grade at the time, and I thought, God dang! I said that is the neatest thing I've ever seen in my life. It was, loud and it looked fast, and it just turned my crank. I just really thought someday I'm going to have a motorcycle, and I suspect that the motorcycle they had probably was a German military bike, because it wasn't that long after World War II, and there was a lot of German military equipment, sitting around in Norway, and so I suspect that's what it was, but I don't know. I have no idea. I just remember seeing that motorcycle, and it was big, and it was loud, and it was fast, and I thought, I got to have one of those. Well, when I got old enough to, you know, have a car and have a driver's license, I told my parents, I said, I'd really like to buy a motorcycle. Well, of course, my mother just went ballistic and said, no, 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 no. People get killed on motorcycles. I said, yeah, that's true. But I said, Mom, they get killed in cars too. But she wouldn't relent. I mean, it was just no go. And so I thought, well, someday I'll get old enough and I can buy a motorcycle without their, permission. And so when I turned 21 and I didn't have their, didn't need their permission to buy whatever I wanted to buy, I bought myself a motorcycle. And I had motorcycles up until a couple of years ago. And I'm 79 now. I'll be 80 in a couple of more months. And, I had to give up some of that, riding motorcycles because I can't, like I said, my back can't tolerate it anymore. But they sure were fun. I started off in the early 60s. I bought a 160 Honda Scrambler. And there was a ton of those around. I mean, they were everywhere. And you never see one anymore. I don't know what happened to them. They're probably sitting around in somebody's shed or garage. But they've improved the motorcycles a lot, and they get newer and better and stuff. And there's some really nice motorcycles out there. And I don't really care what a person rides as long as you enjoy it. It doesn't matter to me whether it's a Harley or Honda or Suzuki, Yamaha, BMW. I've had two Hondas in my life. I've had two BMW or three BMWs, a couple of Triumphs, 4 Harley Davidsons, and I like a Harley a lot. But I think the BMW is probably the finest motorcycle you can buy. But there's nothing wrong with the Honda Goldwing or the Yamahas. They're all anymore outstanding motorcycles, and you can't go wrong with buying one. But they sure are a lot of fun. I enjoyed riding mine a lot. Went to Sturgis quite a few times. Had good times on a motorcycle. And but enough about that. Dogs are something I've always loved, and I've always had dogs. I got a couple of Australian Shepherds now, and I got a brown one with a white chest, and I got a black tri-colored. The brown one is a miniature, and the black tri is a standard Australian Shepherd, and they are so good company. I've had dogs like that with me on the truck, and they're just unbelievable company. And you'll never see a trucker abuse a dog. They just love them because they make those lonely stretches of road and days, so much nicer when you have a dog. Because it does get lonesome out there on the road. You're driving coast to coast or from the Gulf of Mexico to Canada or wherever you happen to be going. Dogs are just a wonderful companion, and I love having them. And like I said, I've had dogs, almost all my adult life. My mother wouldn't let me have a dog, but when I was a little kid living with my grandparents, they had a dog, and I've always loved them, and they're such good company. And you have to be willing to put up with a little hair and stuff, but that's small thing to put up with compared to the amount of pleasure you get from a dog. And I just thought I would ramble on a little bit and, offer up a little apology for not having posted a video. Uh, but I'll, do more of these little, off the top of my head videos and talk about life or maybe some stories from the road about truck driving. My God, I got plenty of those. And most truck drivers that I know, have the gift of gab. We sit around truck stops and we swap lies, and it makes the day a little more enjoyable. You interact with people, and I think it's good to be able to sit down and just visit and talk to people. I like to do that. Meet people with different points of view and talk to them, and not sometimes you get people that really get fired up about things they believe in. And I don't like to get into political discussions. I'm a little hesitant sometimes with people because they take they get really angry about their position, but we need to be able to talk to each other in a civilized manner and not be so divisive. And I enjoy that. I like to visit with people. So anyway, that's all for this video, and don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell. And thank you for stopping by, and I'll talk to you again. Have a great day. Have a good week.